We had phone conversations, like we texted a lot. Fantastic conversationalist. We set up a date, and then I randomly got super cheap Braves tickets, but they were such good seats. And I was like, hey, would you be up to going to a Braves game? And granted, I typically would not sign myself up for a date that lasts hours upon hours, especially as a first date. But I really wanted to go see the Braves, and I liked this guy, so I didn't want to like cancel the date. So I was like, it'll be great. Hopeful thinking, right? So he was like, well, why don't you just meet me and then we'll just drive together? Should not have done that. I should have just met him at the Battery. I know, I already got a lecture. I know, I'm not an idiot. No. So I get there. Looks nothing like his pictures. Like his pictures were probably 5 to 10 years old. So we get in the car and he's like not speaking to me. And I was like, well, maybe he's just nervous. And he was like, I'm going to put on some music. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you're driving. Like, do you want me to just like put on whatever? And he was like, no, I want to use my music. I was like, okay, sure. He puts on like slow alternative jazz.
Okay.
And I was like, awesome. I was like, would it be okay like if we like do a couple of different music styles just to kind of see? Because also like we're going to a baseball game, like let's get hype, you know?
Yeah.
But he was dead set on this jazz and I was like falling asleep, and like it was not a short drive. And then he's like driving like a crazy person, and I was like, hey, for the like both of our safety, like let me just use your phone, like I won't look at anything, like but you drive and I do this. I was like, otherwise like we can just turn around. I was like, you're making me feel uncomfortable like with the way you're driving. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just nervous. So I was like, okay, well, no need to be nervous. So we get to the game. He has not said but like 3 sentences to me, and you know I'm a talker, so I'm trying to like converse with him, not getting anywhere. We get out of the vehicle and he wanted to eat while we were at the game, and I was like, awesome. And so I said, well, why don't we just find our seats and then we'll go get some food. And so we walk in and he's made us late because he also drives like a grandpa, like 10 under in the fast lane. Like he's one of those people.
Oh, fuck this guy.
Should have known.
So many red flags.
Yeah, so many red flags. And I was like, I'm stuck. I've made a mistake. And so we get there and he's like, oh, we're going to miss the first inning. Like we need to go. And he snaps at me like to come on. And I'm like,
what do you mean snaps? Like literally is like, come on, Brittany, let's go.
Yes. Like
wow.
He's walking and he's like, come on. And I was like, surely he didn't mean to do that. And he starts like bulldozing people over to get to the seats. The game has not started yet. The game has not started. Also, we're not first up to bat. Nothing is going to happen that we care about. I guarantee it. And so he is doing it again. He snaps at me for a second time. And I just look at him. I was like, excuse me. And he was like, I mean, just come on. Like we are late. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I'm not pushing people out of my way to get to my chair. And so he was like, well, we're just going to get to the seat and then we'll talk about what we want for food. And I was like, I can stop on the way. Like, I just needed a second. He was like, no, I'll get it. You just come to the seat. And I'm like, okay. So we go and sit down, put our stuff down. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go get some food. Do you want something? He's like, no, I'll go get it. Let's just get through this first inning first. Sure, no problem. We get to like the 4th inning. I get up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get food. And he was like, no. I'll just go. Just after this person's up to bat. And so at this point, I'm just fuming. I'm like, I'm so irritated. I should have just went, right?
You should have just left. Fuck this guy.
Also, I had friends at the game, Logan, that I could have ran home with.
I hope he hears this.
I hope
Fuck
he does too.
this dude.
His name was Andrew, and he's the worst, and he looks like a bug. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and at the top of the 7th, also, the Braves are playing horrible. It is 0-0 the entire game. We get to when they do like the last call for the beers and stuff. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. At this point, I still have not eaten, and I'm just on principle now. Like, I'm not getting up. Like, I'm not going to get food. I've tried multiple times. Like, I'm not doing this. And so he gets up, goes to the bathroom, comes back, Logan, with food for himself, and sits down. And I just look over at him. I was like, oh, you did not. It was so bad. And so my
brings back food for only him. What a motherfucker, dude.
I have mentioned 3 times. And one of my good friends at the time is like a few sections over with her sister and their boyfriends. She brings me food and he looks at me. He's like, I would have gotten you food. Just say something.
Oh, I would have
punched the table. I could have flipped it. So,
I want to assault this man.
Get this. The game went into 12 innings. It would
You stayed the whole time?
End. Oh, no. Everybody's getting up and leaving, and he's talking all this crap. You don't leave a baseball game until it's finished. You stay till the end. The other team gets a run. We're home team, so we get one more chance at bat. As soon as they get the other one, he's like, all right, let's go. He gets up and leaves, and I stay seated. He's like, no, really, like, we're leaving. And I rode with him. I should have just, on principle, been like, no, I'm not doing it. But I was so mad at this point. I was like, fine. And so I didn't say a single word to him the rest of the night. And then he texted me the next day, had the audacity to be like, had such a great time with you.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, respectfully, lose my number.